Do you want to watch your favorite horror films in English, in original version, but you're still not sure? Do you think that your level of English is not good enough to watch these programs? Did you know that you've been believing a lot of lies without foundations for a long, long time? Yes, you have. This is what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about 3 urban legends that we believe, and I'm going to dismantle them, I'm going to destroy them, and I'm going to tell you how can you move on with your English level, with your language learning, independently of your level. Hello, Gothic friends. This is Alice, and you are in Gothic Land, a place where we learn and we talk about all things Gothic, but where we also improve our critical thinking and we develop language skills in a second language. We develop our communication skills in a second language. So today I have prepared a video to talk about 3 urban legends that we believe when we watch horror films, when we watch programs in a second language. In this case, English, but you can also apply it for any other language. It could be for Spanish learning, for German, for any other film. This is general. Okay, so urban legend number 1. I have to be level B2 to understand series in original version. I don't know where this comes from really, but can you imagine for those people who travel and they have an A1 and A2 and they are just exposed to the language from the very beginning? They have to start communicating from the very first time. So no, you don't have to be a B2. A B2, remember, that is the from the European framework of languages. It's a first certificate level. You don't have to wait that long. In fact, what I encourage you to do is to start watching film series, to listen to podcasts, all the material that you want that is horror based, obviously, because this is what we like doing here. Horror, terror, Gothic, yes. That you actually expose yourself from the very beginning. There are different techniques that we can follow. Independently whether you are an A1, you're going to concentrate on some aspects of the language. If you are a B2, you're going to concentrate and detect the elements from the B2 level, and the same for the rest. Okay, so it's not just about expose yourself because I understand everything. No, the point is that when you're exposing yourself, you're going to be exposed also to accents, to pronunciation, to different nationalities, and your brain is doing a lot of work there, as well as just the vocabulary. That's not the only thing. The vocabulary, the grammar, the structures, that is the basis, but it's not the only thing that our brain is doing. So even when you're not really conscious about what you're listening or you're watching, your brain is still doing a lot of work. So please start from zero. You can do that by, if you're an A1 or an A2, first I recommend you to watch things that you're familiarized with. Okay, so for example, watch a film first in your mother tongue, and then the next time you watch it, you leave it a couple of days or so, and then watch it in English or in the language that you are studying, right? By doing that, you're not concentrating on the context, which, you know, it creates two kind of stresses here. If we have never seen a film and then we have a low level and all of a sudden we're exposed to this film, what happens that our brain is working really hard and it's very tiring. We're trying to concentrate on the story and on the language, but if we are familiarized with the story, then we are going to concentrate really on the language. And the attitude is the following: instead of thinking I haven't got anything, or I don't get all of the vocabulary, or I've missed a lot of verbs, or I've missed a lot of phrases, or what did they actually say there, just think the opposite. Think, okay, I've got this. I recognize that word. I recognize that expression. Yeah, great. How do you think I started? I started like that. When I was a Prince intermediate, nobody told me about these strategies. I just naturally, instinctively, I went home and we didn't even have on TV the options that we have nowadays. Imagine that when there were TV shows that I could change the language into English, I watched that in my own time, when my mom and dad were asleep, when I wasn't annoying anybody. I put my headphones and I watched programs without any translation, with no subtitles, and I was just making this huge effort, and I was a pre-intermediate, and even my teacher never told me this. So what are you waiting for? It's a great opportunity nowadays with all the tools that you have to expose yourself to those series that you really love, that you familiarize with. And now that we have the excuse of Supernatural that we want to keep watching over and over, and we do that with many series and programs, this is your great chance to do so. So urban legend number 1 is gone. Urban legend number 2. American English is easier than British English, or the other way around. British English is easier than American English. This is a lot of nonsense again. To say that a language is easier than another, or an accent is easier than another, is not really the language itself. It depends on our mother tongue, and it depends on exposure. If you think about it, in countries like in Spain, or even I can think that South American countries, they are more exposed probably to American English because it's closer, because of TV. The invasion that we have of these TV programs is probably greater in American English, although nowadays we're getting more of a balance. Yeah, with Netflix and all these channels, we're getting more of a balance. But for example, other people have the opposite perception. They believe that British English is easier, and what they don't realize is that a lot of times it depends on the amount of exposure to that language. It could have been their teacher, it could have been the TV programs, it could have been work. So there are numerous things why a speaker can say this is easier or not. Also, there's the factor of what your preferences are. Some people prefer the American English, but I think that American is very generalized. Then we have different accents. It's not the same a Texan accent. There's someone from Canada, then someone from a different area, yeah, from Vancouver. Different regions, different areas, different accents, but we all understand each other. Okay, imagine even when you get in these TV programs nowadays, they are less and less strict with their accents. They try to blend in more different accents from different places. If you think about Supernatural again, I know that I always use this example, but think about Rowena. She's Scottish, and that's not adapted. We have some actors might adapt their accent to the character that they play in, but that's a different story. And you have Crowley from London, from the outskirts, and you have different actors and actresses from different parts of the world. This is like real life. When you're in your workplace, do you get people with subtitles? Or if you travel abroad, do you get people with subtitles in their neck or in their forehead adapted to your level? No, you are boom, exposed to reality. In the workplace is the same. You might encounter people from different parts of the world that their mother tongue is not English, like in our case, and you also have to adapt to their own pronunciation. So you have the accent, and in this case, yes, you also have the pronunciation of the person from the country. Sometimes there are, remember, the pronunciation and accent are not the same concepts, and we will need to clarify that. That's another misconception. But nowadays, there are lots of programs where we don't just find standard English, either British or American. We also find the different accents, right? The varieties of English. This is beautiful. If you think about terror or horror, which is what we talk about here, even monsters, sometimes they even have their own way of speaking. So we need to be exposed to everything, because that is our real life. So urban legend number 3, time. This is my favorite one. What is with time, people? Nobody has time. We waste time, we lose time, we don't know what is happening to time. And time is every time the same. It's always the same. We don't find the time. We have to make this time. If we really want to do something, we really find those moments. Have you heard of there's the theory called the 80-20 theory, which is applied to businesses and in marketing. This theory that was first time that was talked about was by Pareto. He said that the 20% of our time the profit of the benefits of our business come from the 20% of our time, and the rest, the other 80, goes in other things that we don't need. We procrastinate, we just waste our time, we are thinking things that we shouldn't be thinking, we're not productive basically. This is in marketing, but if we apply that to the languages, to the learning of languages, we can see the same. If you think of finding an hour every day to expose yourself to the language, you're going to find all the excuses not to do so. But if you make sure that every day you're exposed, even if it's 10 minutes, 5 minutes to the language, you're going to make the effort, and at the end of the week, you're going to have been exposed to a longer time. And that is very beneficial because that's what we need. It's not magic. Learning a second language is not magical. It doesn't happen because we're going to learn a lot of algorithms. No, it's hard work and it's exposure. And then, yes, there are little tips and tricks here and there, but it's all about hard work and exposure. I'm sorry. There's no other way. Don't believe anything else because it's a pile of no. So if you're motivated enough, you're going to find this time and you're going to make sure that you make this happen. And if we use horror, terror, gothic, all these genres that we really, really love, we're going to make that effort. If you're still a little bit like confused and you still don't know how to do this, don't worry, you can contact me and you can ask me, look, I don't know, I'm not sure what my level of language is, whether it's English or Spanish. I don't really know how to do this. Talk to me, write to me and tell me what your problems are. But if you're not sure, I have also created a document that you can download, a free downloadable called How to Watch Series in Original Version and Don't Die Trying. It's a bit of a direct translation from Spanish because it's quite funny in Spanish. Cómo ver series de inglés y no morir en el intento. Download these because I'm going to give you there a few, not all of the things that we could do with the language when we're watching the series or listening to podcasts, but at least some basic tools for you to start getting your mindset in the right place. Okay, so download that and tell me how it goes. So very quickly, just to wrap up, the 3 urban legends. The first urban legend, when we are watching TV or a horror series, a horror program in a second language, in this case English, because it's what we normally teach, that I have to have a B2. Forget that. A B2 is it takes too long to get to the B2 to be able to understand and to learn. Start from the beginning. Remember, subtitles if you're a lower level, and no subtitles when you're higher, and watch again. And there are different techniques. If you do the downloadable, I will tell you all about it. The second urban legend was that American English is easier than British English, or the other way around. Remember, this is just not true. It depends on what you like, your preferences, the musicality of different areas, regions, and also the exposure that you've had and your workplace. Yes, if you have you work for an American company, you're gonna find that variation of the language easier. And the last urban legend is that I don't have time. If you want something, you will get it. So you're gonna make the time, and there are no excuses, my friend. And that's it. It is hard, it is reality, but that's you can apply that to anything, right? So I hope this has been useful. I would really like to know, what do you do when you're watching series? I would like to know what has been your story. I would like to know if you've when did you start watching original film series in original version? Do you think you're making the most of your time? Is there a tip that you could tell me about that you do? Would you like me to give you my tips? Remember that you can contact me to get some free advice, and if not, the downloadable, the free How to Watch Series in Original Version and Don't Die Trying. Okay, friends, so that's it for me. That's it for me today. I hope that you've liked this. I hope that you find this very useful, and I'm gonna let you go because I'm sure that you can't wait now to watch your series in English or in Spanish, depending on what you're learning, or in German, whatever, because you are really motivated to get on with it. Okay, my Gothic friends, so I'll see you next time, and be good. Bye.